Knicks Pacers live right now. You know what time it is as far as your boy is concerned. Knicks today, tomorrow, Tuesday, and 3 times on Wednesday. Let's get our socials going on. Facebook, good. IG is good on this Sunday edition. SandCity Sports. It's a beautiful thing. Okay. A lot going on. Let's make sure to. Oh, yeah. Twitter is going good. Let's get YouTube in order.
The entire country.
Mm-hmm. Got a lot of good programs, actually. A lot of good programs on YouTube. So much great content that's out there to take part in. YouTube is where it needs to be. Let's get Twitch where it needs to be. 11-point game. My New York Knicks hanging around. Come on. Come on, Deuce. Big possession. Down 11. Late clock. Yes, sir! 8-point game. Yes. Backs up against the wall. New York Knicks under the capable leadership of my coach, Tom Thibodeau, about that life. Hanging in there. 8 points with the ball, 37 seconds to go. Buckle up, folks. Go ahead and buckle up. Put your comeback hats on. Because that's what time it is. That's what time it is right now. We got this possession going on. Hope everybody out there is doing well. Let's hold on. We got this. We got to get through. Another turnover. Another doggone turnover. All right. That being said, we have to do what we have to do. We got to do what we got to do, folks. In terms of and you give up a doggone dunk, push it back to 10, skip it, shoot it. Come on now. Going into the fourth quarter with a double-digit deficit, had an opportunity. Knicks giving up opportunities. Nonetheless, you know how we do, folks. Welcome, folks. SandCity, your boy, K.A.T, kid in the building. We got the Knicks and the Pacers. Fourth quarter. You know how we doing. New York, stand up. All the way from the Cape. We here to support. Get our team over the hump. That's what's going to happen as far as I'm concerned. Run it back. On the intro, we do 2 times. Hope everybody Memorial Weekend is going well. Have nice weather. Sun is shining. You understand? You gotta take advantage of the opportunity. You don't know when these storms are gonna come. Try to knock you back, but you gotta see it going. That's what we do. Is that the nerve? It's all SandCity. On the Sunday edition. Hey! And we're rocking. We're off to the races. Hope everybody again is doing well, is doing what you're doing. Our socials are good. As we say on SandCity Sports, I appreciate individual rocking with me on the Twitter feed. As we say in SandCity Sports, mi casa, su casa. Okay, so if you have takes, all right, comments, so on and forth. If you want to jump in, just holler at your boy. Let me know, and we'll incorporate all of those things into the episode. Obviously, you know what time it is. You know what time it is right here. You can see, okay, my New York Knicks backs up against the wall. Okay, done taking some power punches. All right, power punches in games 1 and game 2. Some heartbreaking stuff that's been going on. Heartbreaking. We're talking about 50 years since the New York Knicks have tasted some prosperity and winning an NBA championship. And now this year, when it's wide open, it's right there for the Knickerbockers. Devastating loss in game 1. Nip and tuck game, lose game 2. Now you have to go on the road to Indiana. Very difficult place to play. I gotta say, I think we need Josh Hart. Is how I'm gonna put this. I don't mind switching up the starting lineup. Mitch Rob, get out there, do what he does, but we don't need to, we being New York Knicks, let the outside energy affect the inside energy. You don't let outside energy affect what's inside. All right. If you know that you're doing your best, okay, and you're committed to the cause, don't let the outside come in and affect the inside in any way, shape, or form. So that being said, I got no problem Mitchell Robinson starting, but Josh Hart is clearly the best lineup. La Cosa Nova, okay, we need three. We need all three of the Villanova guys on the court at the same time. Okay, we don't play this load management nonsense. All right, Mikal Bridges, consecutive game streak. Right, you know what I mean? And hoopers know what I'm talking about. All the, you know what I mean? Oh my goodness, you could get injured. All right, you get injured walking across the street. Stop this nonsense. Okay, hoopers know what time it is. Once you get out there, all the practice, all the preparation, your diet, all these things that you're doing. When you get out in the court, we're here now. Okay, as the fourth quarter gets underway. Okay. Allen Iverson averaging 41 minutes a game. We talking about practice, my man. We talking about practice, not a game, not a game. We talking practice, okay? And on cue, Josh Hart rebound, Catman scoop. Let's go! Let's go! 7-point game. What we talking about right now? Josh Hart rebound, Catman scoop. Your man Karl Anthony Towns with the bucket. Let's get our lineup out there and let's go to work. We going to work right now. Let's go. Talking about. Okay, so I got no problem, Mitch Rob, but we need La Cosa Nova right now. That's what we need to lock him down. Come on, little touch foul. I got you, Josh Hart. You're in the moment, but take your hands off. I got no problem with that call because he had his hands on going into the shooting action. Just a little nickel dimer right there, but the energy is good. The energy is good. Okay, and we're going down with the ship. I'm not even getting into some of my, the Knicks are winning this series. We're winning the series. Okay, right now times are tough. As we shout out, we see Patrick Ewing's in the building. Clyde, the Glide, Frazier in the building. I have to imagine Spike Lee is in the building. Shout out to Spike Lee. Got a new film coming out in the fall. Highest to the lowest. Crime thriller. Kind of going all the way back to Inside Man, which is something, I'm dating myself. It's like, dang, it's been a decade. It's been almost, since Inside Man. I saw that. Like, golly, day. Your boy's not as young as he used to be. You understand? Not as young as I used to be. But looking forward to that Spike Lee. We might have to get that for you on the screen. He was out there in Cannes Film Festival. The cast of this new film, Highest to the Lowest, is out of this world. Obviously, Denzel, ASAP Rocky, Wendell Pierce. Let me get that right. Of Be More fame, of The Wire and Treme fame. If you haven't, you know what I mean. If you haven't taken watched either of those series, do yourself a favor. Okay, so let's just get the highest to the lowest on the screen as I'm talking about it. You know what I mean? So you have the visual. And we'll just keep moving the groove. A 9-point game, make it a 7-point game. Let's go Knicks. Let's go Knicks. Yeah. And it's time. We got to get stops. We're running. 7 points. Let's run. Make it a 5-point game, folks. Timeout Pacers. Okay, let's get the highest to the lowest. Go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New eight.
Spike Lee's upcoming film, Highest to Lowest, has added A$AP Rocky. Now,
Okay. So let's get this. Okay. Boop, boop, boop. We're gonna get highest to lowest for you on the screen just so you can appreciate. Um. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Cast is just bananas, and Wendell Pierce isn't even up in this. So the cast is off the chains. Shout out to Jeffrey Wright. Um, his last film that escapes my let me just get this for you. Jeffrey Wright's last film was tremendous. Had some cape sequences. Um, so I'm not sharing this. We got to get Jeffrey Wright's last film, which American Fiction, awesome, award winning, such a great passion project coming from, you know what I mean? Put that piece together. Because as we say, folks, it's not the man that's keeping you down. It's not the system. It's not society. All right. Even though, it's hard out there. You understand? What did we learn from training day? What did Denzel, speaking of Denzel, what did he break down the detective for? Ain't nothing free in this world. Ain't nothing free in this world. Not even arrest warrants. Nothing free out here. All right. But that's no excuse for you and me and everybody not, right? Most men live lives of quiet desperation and die with the song still inside of them. Shout out to Henry David Thoreau. Okay. We live lives of quiet desperation. Okay. Because we got the song still inside. We have to let that song out. And it's a battle, absolute battle. But we go all the way back to Sylvester Stallone with Rocky. Write your own role. We go back to my man Matty D, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Good Will Hunting. Write your own role. So much respect for Jeffrey Wright, American Fiction, his passion project he put together. You're not blaming the studio. He's not blaming the system. He's not blaming the man. No, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing what I'm doing. And he made it happen. All right. And he created a notable piece of art, American Fiction, off the chains. But this highest to lowest, very exciting project. Obviously, it's a Spike Lee joint. So anytime you hear a Spike Lee joint, just stop. You already know what time it is. You hear if it's a Spike Lee joint. But it was a situation, and we're going. Obviously, it's commercial time right now, so there's no my New York Knicks down 5. We're taking this game, folks. And all receipts been kept, and we're gonna have to go over every single last one because, all right, man, it's a long way to go. Indy's ferocious, but ain't no two ways about it as far as I'm concerned. My New York Knicks, we getting this dub. Okay, long way to go, but come on now? It looks like Travis Best is in the building. Look like Travis Best is in the building. Oh my goodness. The pride of Springfield Central here in Massachusetts. Pride of Georgia Tech. What? Travis Best was a problem. 5'9" McDonald's. Come on. Yes, sir. Come on, Knicks. Hart back in the game. Catman. Okay. Cat to the basket. And one, baby. Go, New York. Go, New York. Go. Come on. 3-point game. We got our lineup out there. You heard me? We got La Cosa Nova's out there right now. What do they say? We outside. La Cosa Nova is outside right now. Come on, 10 minutes to go. Long way to go. A long way to go. But this next team, come on. Keep pushing. Don't look back. Come on, Catman Scoop. Let's get it. Don Bosco, Jersey. Ugh! Jump ball. Come on, we got to get these doggone free. If it's free, it's free. You heard me? If it's free. It's a jump ball. Oh, I don't mind that call. Kind of got twisted up, one thrown out of bounds. I don't mind that call at all. Yes, Knicks with the ball. Big Body Brunson's on the bench right now. Ugh. Chance to tie it. Okay, so we coming down. You know, we're locked in on this game. Obviously, a lot to get to in the world of sports. Okay, NFL stuff. They made the right decision. You know, it's called football for a reason. All this flag football. You know, people. You know, Spicy P is just a doggone problem. This man Pascal is giving everybody fits. So we'll discuss what's going on in the NFL. Shout out to your boy Shador Sanders, who's in Cleveland, trusting the process. Right out there, hey, he said what you said. You know, golden opportunity for him. He signed his deal. You know, these moves are being made as we get ready to go into the summer months and start to, you know, summer months. Obviously, here in Tourstown, it's a beautiful thing. But you go into the summer months, you're gearing up for that NFL season. So things that's going on around the league. Aaron Rodgers is you know, still playing, you know, the game, and 5-point game. Got free throws being missed all over the place. Big Body Brunson staying on the bench with the 4 fouls as the Knicks make the move. Come on, give it to Cat. Give it to him, okay? Cat and Spicy P. Let's go, Cat. Cat going to the line. You know what I mean? All this talk about my coach, Tom Thibodeau. Highest to the lowest. It's coming for the, okay? Check it out. Let's get back to this. We're going to stop sharing. Let's come on back now. Let's come on back to the game, 5-point game. I see some people with me on Facebook. I appreciate you. Appreciate my Facebook people that's rocking with me. Hey, what's going on, Mickey Blue Eyes on the IG? Appreciate the time you're putting in. A couple folks on Twitter. Okay. Much love across the board. Let me just hold on. Okay. A couple folks. Appreciate the Mal and Militia. A couple folks on Twitter that I gotta connect with. I appreciate it. It's been a busy, yes sir, 3-point game. Busy, you know what I mean? But what do we learn? I'm a better man when I'm a busy man. I'm a better man when I'm a busy man. So it's been a busy time, but it's been good. But sometimes when you're busy, you got to get back to folks, you know. So things kind of accumulate, and you have to, you know, take the time to reach out. And so I got to do that. 3-day weekend is certainly helping me with that. But a lot in the world of sports. We're locked in. This game is going down to the wire. You know, and it's a pivotal, right? We're talking the difference between 2-1 and 3-0. It's absolutely indispensable right here. No team ever come back from 3-0. Each of these games could have swung the other way, you know. So as far as my New York Knicks are concerned, right? What does Deion say? You got to believe. Okay, Knicks been giving games away. Knicks in a spot that has not, you know, this franchise hasn't tasted prosperity in so long. But now is the time. It's been the time. This team is built for it. Okay? Yes, sir! Come on, Cat. 1-point game. We in the building right now. Let's go. Hart with the rebound. What are we talking about here? Hart bringing the ball up. La Cosa Nova to Bridges. The Nova connection. Get him off me. Get Halliburton off me. Knicks take the lead. The fandom in Indiana is feeling it. Might be the first lead of the ball game. Been down all game. Catman Scoop. You what? That's Don Bosco. What? Let's go. Let's go Knicks. We got any Pacers fans out there in the building? Okay. I started talking Knicks. We a couple people was on, and now it's not. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, folks. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. This is the K. Oof, Hallie is filthy. He's filthy. All right, so I'm talking about the game. You're watching the game, so it's got to be, you know what I mean. Obviously, I have to comment on, but at the same time, we also want to have a conversation right now. Uh, we want to have a conversation about sports, about culture, about the day to day grind that we're all involved in. Trying to do our best, so it's a totality. Yeah, obviously, we're doing Big Body Brunson. Knicks back up by one. We're going to do the play by play and follow on the game. You're watching, I'm watching. We're doing this together. Um, but then we have to go around the world of sports as the fantasy, right? It was slandering my team, talking about our coach. Got something for him. So specific to the NBA, folks, it's Final Four right now, clearly. All right, and I've said it, others have said it. It's anybody's ball game. Any of these teams can get a championship. Okay, Timberwolves first in their history. O.K.C, newer team, right, coming from the Seattle Supersonics, who did win an NBA championship. 78, 79. Seattle. 77 was the Blazers. 76 is the Celtics. 78, 78 the Bullets. I'm not mistaken. So I believe Seattle got their chip in 79. Okay. So Oklahoma City, right? They haven't necessarily won a championship, but the team that they, there's no Oklahoma City Thunder. That's the Seattle Supersonics. We need the Supersonics back, by the way. It is, so it would be the first championship in this iteration. It's hard to say who's the most talented team, right? Obviously, Oklahoma City during the season has been the most talented, but they got mad dog by the Denver Nuggets. So to me, they're not clear. I started this playoffs with them head and shoulders above the rest in the West. Um, but after Denver had them up against the ropes, ready to deliver the knockout punch that never came. Um, I'm not putting Oklahoma City Thunder on a pedestal. The silence the phone right quick. Minnesota Timberwolves, I think, are just as talented, if not more, frankly. Finally found their groove in Game 3 and then put a beating on them. But first two games, Minnesota had no kind of energy, had no kind of right. What did Austin, Powers say? They had no kind of mojo. Minnesota, which really made me feel some type of way about them, and specifically to Anthony Edwards. I'm looking at Ant-Man like, you're gonna let the new Jack, the young gun, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander come and steal your shine. If you're Anthony Edwards, last year Luka done came in and stole your shine. All right, and now, so Anthony Edwards, I'm looking for some domination over here. I'm looking for some takeover. You need to go ahead and go in Jay-Z's analog and right. Minnesota guy had was that way last game, but the first two games, más o menos. You know what I mean? I see. They so over here. Uh, so I can't put, Oklahoma City just based on what happened with Denver and their youth. Minnesota can't seem to get right and get their groove and just Minnesota. And that's the thing with my New York Knicks. This looks like a successful challenge. That's no way that's that's a charge. Unsuccessful. What? Big body Brunson with 5. That was a charge, man. Threw his whole body into him. Good D by Hart. Excellent. So we miss him. One part of La Cosa Nova. Guys have to step up. Be coming down the stretch now. Tough floater. No good for Cat. All right, and the Pacers and the Knicks. And it hurts my heart to say this, but you got to keep it a buck. Hart running. Cat shooting. We're missing Brunson right now. We're missing Brunson. Because these are possessions. We're taking quick shots. Taking quick shots as we come 6 minutes. We're coming down 1-point game. That was a big call. Hart defense. Spicy P is just, man, that looked like a charge though. Man. Brunson, he's moving. You can move laterally or obliquely. Right? So you can move at an angle as long as you're in you're coming in an unoccupied space. So I do have an issue with that call on Brunson because he's sliding and he's here. He doesn't go into, the offensive player comes into, so you can slide and, as you're sliding, as long as you have your torso facing, you maintain what we call legal guarding position. So I have an issue with that. I thought that was a good challenge and he could have been overturned. But what we're seeing here is in these last couple of possessions, we're seeing these quick shots from Karl-Anthony Towns. These would be possessions where big body Brunson would control the tempo and we would get a higher percentage shot deeper into the clock. So if I'm Tibbs, 4 minutes, let's get big body Brunson back in this game. If he fouls out, he fouls out, but you got to get him back in this game at the 4-minute mark. And if Deuce, if it's still a 1-point game and we're just kind of sputtering offensively, then we get 4 minutes. And if he fouls out, then we'll just come back and do what we've been doing. And frankly, who should be on the ball? Not Deuce. It should be Mikal Bridges needs to be on the ball. We have primary ball handlers. Josh Hart is not a primary, but he can handle the ball, but he's not. The offense needs to run through Mikal Bridges. Let's stop playing games right now. Right? We gave away those first-round draft picks. We made the move for a reason. Ball shouldn't be, Mikal Bridges, come from the side and come get on the ball. Stop this nonsense. Deuce is a better spot-up shooter. Anyway, that's his game, spotting up. He's not as much of an off-the-dribble, off-the-bounce shooter. Spicy P, rebound action. Let's go. Hart bringing it up. Run it through Bridges. Run it through Bridges. Cat with the ball out top. Too hot. Yo, Cat right now. Maybe he heard what I said. Maybe I should just shut the heck up. This man Cat is. Maybe we got. Hey, run through Cat. I would, but at the same time, let's. Cat just running wild. But what I'm saying is that you can scheme up. Cat is just shooting. Cat is out there. Let's hold on a second. Hold on a second. Hold on a second, folks. We got to share the screen in terms of what's going on right now. Okay? Because I didn't know Cat had this in his bag. I'm sorry. But this is what we're getting from Cat right now. Bring it over. This is what we're getting from Cat right now.
Out there, I was going to put my move to the test.
Iverson draws.
This is what Cat is doing right now.
He's the greatest player to ever play the game.
This is what he's doing.
Big, nice play.
This is what Cat is.
Very quick move. He goes to his left, his right, and he comes up with a jumper.
Tell me about the little guy's crossover.
Very quick. He handles the ball very well. With this crossover, they do allow him to pick the ball up and carry it pretty high.
I figured that he wanted to come back to his right hand, but
Come on.
he keeps the ball real low.
We need to stop now. Come on, Knicks.
He's small.
We need to stop.
He's certainly closer to the ground than I am. So, I mean, his quickness is unbelievable.
Let's go.
A Charlotte game, and I was telling him how much I loved him and admired him.
Yes, sir. We back now.
Telling him how much he was my hero. And he was like, well,
It's going through
I
Deuce.
couldn't have been.
Get it to Mikel. See, we're just wasting time with Deuce. And now late clock, Cat's got to go to work. Cat got to go to work in the late clock. Let's go, Cat. Oh, damn. Oh, he kind of delayed. It's not continuous. I don't have a problem with that whistle. That's what guys are doing now. It has to be continuous. It has to be a continuous motion. You can't just stop. Good D. Oh, God. Good D by Bridges. Spicy P is a problem. Give it. We're running too much. Okay. I got a real problem with this. I'm telling you. Get Deuce off the ball. Okay, we got Bridges. Thank you. Run it. Good. Deuce has to give it up. It's because he's just wasting time. What are you? He's not. That's not his offense. Stop it. Mikel Bridges needs to be on the ball. Deuce needs to be spotting up. Deuce isn't. And really, I didn't know Cat had his bag like that until he just showed me. Okay. Oh, big foul. We need these buckets on the free throw line. Okay, it's the 4-minute mark. Bring back Big Body Brunson. I need Big Body Brunson. Bring him back. This is a risk right now. I'm saying bring back Big Body Brunson now. And if he fouls out, he fouls out. Who cares? But we need him on the offensive end. This offense is sputtering. Okay, 4-point game. We gotta run it through Bridges. If it's not Big Body Brunson, that's what I'm saying. Or this Cat, it's hit and go. Cat is hot right now, so just give it to the hot man. But it's tough giving Cat the ball in 1-4 sets. Okay, let's see. Okay, yeah, defense. We on the defense. OG, no. What? What I told you? The last OG. What? Stop that foolishness. We need this now. Big stop. That's a violation. We can bring back Bunchen. Is he bringing back Big Body? This is a big possession for Big Body. He's staying. Okay, damn it. I would have brought back Bunchen for this one. Give it to Mikel Bridges. Get it out of Deuce's hand. We're running it through Hart. Mikel. What did I... Get Brunson in the game. I told you can't trust Deuce on the ball. That's not his game. Like, just say, Cat trying to throw it over the top to Brick. That's not offense. You're out here trying to improvise in a crucial situation when you have the most clutch player in the game on the bench. What are we doing? Who cares if he fouls? This is the same issue I have with this load management analytics, junk science. If its and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. You cannot prove a negative or a false positive or however you want to say it. You don't know. Anything could happen. I can win Powerball. Who knows? Tom Thibodeau's my coach, but doggone it, what are you doing? These are critical offensive possessions. A, give the ball to Mikal Bridges and run your freaking action through Bridges and Towns. Bridges and Towns, run the action through them. You're just putting Mikal Bridges in the freaking corner like he's a spot-up shooter, which he can do, but he's not as good of a spot-up shooter as Deuce. That's Deuce's game, driving kick. You want Mikal driving and kicking it to Deuce. Mikal Bridges can't hit the three. He's more likely to attack off the three-point line, but that's a much better scenario. Depending on how this challenge goes. See? Yes, Deuce is, but that's not the action that you want. K.A.T trying to make and we lost the doggone challenge. Now you got to keep Mikal Bridges off the bench, on the bench, because it's a defensive possession. Hallie with the bucket. Give it to Mikal Bridges. Get it out of Deuce's hands. They gave Deuce the bucket on the straight line drive. Looked vertical. That's close. Spicy looked vertical. Let's see it here. Spicy is straight up. He's the bigger man. Good. That might be challenged. That was close. I respect, again, Bridges, McBride for attacking the basket, but he's attacking the basket, he's trying to, force a foul, which we got the call. I'll take it, but nothing for nothing. Spicy was vertical. That's a nickel diamond. That's a tough one. We're under 3 minutes now. Big Body Brunson is still on the bench. And you got to keep him on the bench because my coach is losing me on this one. Tibbs is my coach. I'm lost on this one. We got to get Brunson in the game now. It's 2:42. We have to get Brunson in the game now. We got to get... If I don't see no Brunson after this possession, we're in the freaking danger zone. Bucket, Tibbs, keeping Brunson on the bench. This is uncharted territory, my people. We are all the way in a whole nother. We done entered the Twilight Zone. We've entered the doggone Twilight Zone. K.A.T 1-4 set. Good no call, nothing. That's what I'm talking. And now we want to get Brunson in the game. After we give it up another possession. Three, Turner. See? We got another offensive possession and we don't have our team. Go, Mikal. Yes. Deuce, get it. see that? Tremendous defensive play by Spicy P. Now we foul. Now they're to the free throw line. Now you bring back Brunson, and it's a tie game. Now it's a tie game versus us having. So that cost us a possession. Waiting till 137. That cost us a freaking possession. And we know under 2 minutes, you don't have enough time to get these possessions back. So you lost the possession you cannot get back under 2 minutes. There's not enough time for you to get that possession back. We gave away a possession. Tie game. It is what it is. You got to, hey, we're together. We win as a team. What did we learn? We win as a team, we lose as a team. But there's some things that have been happening. Now Brunson, he's cold now. He's cold. So he's his first possession. You can't just give the ball to Brunson on the first possession and be like, go get a bucket. He's just coming into the game. I would run it through Bridges. You can't, because Brunson has to get warm. Go. It ain't take him long to get warm. Huge bucket. Okay, they got the switch they wanted. Switch it again. Cat, come out, get him. Rebound. Excellent. Josh Hart. Now give it to Big Body. Give it to Big Body Brunson. Give it to Brunson now. He's in his groove. Give it to. Okay, now we're good. We're good. Let's run it. Run the offense. We're good now. Go to work. Okay. Out of bounds. See, this is now we can run offense. Huge bucket by Brunson to give us the lead. Huge first possession back. We got to get someone that's out of bounds play. Come on, Tibbs. Brunson. Okay, violation. I would go offense, defense. Get Brunson out. Get Brunson out. Get Brunson out. Good. Good substitution, Tibbs. You sub him out now. He didn't put him in a game when we needed him. Good defense. Good rebound. Josh Hart foul. La Cosa Nova. What did I tell you? I told you. La Cosa Nova. I told you this. Good closeout by Mitch Robb. Who came through with the rebound out of position? La Cosa Nova. I told you. Huge free throws now. Huge. Come on. The Jay Wright tradition. Come on. Then we got to go offense, defense. We got to go offense, defense again for another stop. But you see what I told you about these possessions that we wasted? So instead of now this could be a 4-point game. If we put Big Body Brunson in when we needed him. One more. We still need a stop. We've been down this road before. We have to get another stop. We can't let them get a 3 or a 2. Come on, La Cosa Nova. Come on, La Cosa Nova. We need to stop. Come on. We got our unit. No stupid fouls. Bridges, lock him down. Lock him down, Mikkel. Lockdown. He don't want it. Lock him down. Help. What? Get Brunson back in the game. That's a crazy call. What? That is crazy. That was no foul. What the heck? Okay, a little. Okay. A little bit of a body, little body. All right. What I tell you about possessions, folks? So now, right? We gave away some possessions, keeping people on the bench for no good reason. So now it's a one possession game. We have to make both free throws versus having some cushion. Now we know that the cushion is not work. Indy, we had cushion in game one, and Indiana torched that cushion. So we got to execute. A lot of game left. And we left some, you know what I mean? We left some opportunities out there on the court. Spicy P, he walls up, he gets a foul anyway. So, right, if that, this could easily be a tie game versus a 2-point game. Okay? That's neither here nor there. Right? Because Spicy P gets the foul when he walled up, but then also that was a little bit of a nickel dimer on Bridges, particularly under 10 seconds. But that didn't, right? He gave him a little bit of a bump, but Halliburton was still getting to the basket. You could have held off. We didn't need that whistle. Now if he still has his arm on him and Hallie goes up, I have no problem with it. But my point is that could have been a no call, and just Indiana could have schemed whatever the heck they needed to scheme. Tibbs dog on there at half court. I love it. Get it to Brunson. Good. All right. Fouls on Big Body. Let's go. Mr. Clutch, we need both. Great set. We got it to the guy we needed. Big Body Brunson, shut it down. Shut it down. Let's go. Not the critic that counts. Come on! Come on! Mitch Robb, good sub, Tibbs, for the rebound action and defense. Excellent substitution. All right, I give credit where I have to. We needed Big Body Brunson. It's neither here nor there. We need this free throw. We got to get this one. And we need a hand up because we know that Indiana is dangerous. We've been down this road. No fouls. Get a hand up. Do not let them just come down and bomb away on a 3 without a contest. Let's go, Big Body. Let's go, Mr. Clutch. Come on. Let's go. Mr. Clutch. Mr. Clutch. Mr. Clutch. What'd you say, Bo? What'd y'all say? When we came through, it was keep the same energy, folks. Keep that same energy, folks. Now, I'm not getting overconfident right now. I ain't getting overconfident because we still got a lot of ball game left. We need to stop. Need a hand up on the 3. We don't foul, but Hand down. We got to get it. Okay? A long way to go. And a long way to go in this series. Long way to go in the series. So, first things first, we got to get a stop. Because this essentially is where the situation was in game 1. This is a repeat of game 1. All right, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. Okay? All right. Appreciate those that's tuning in. Pacers fans that are out there have to endure. But there's no two ways about this. Good closeout. Who come through with another rebound? That heart. Amen. I just say, you know what I mean? Push come to shove, we need La Cosa Nova. All right, we need the Nova Knicks. Again, Mitch Rob, no issue there. Okay, but Hart, that's our best lineup. If you want to do some things scheme-wise, Mitch Rob, he's huge. Okay, but the best lineup is with Hart at the 4 and K.A.T at the 5. The energy in my fantasy league, yeah, they want to talk about Scott Foster being on the game. No. We came through and handled business. Put some respect on my Knicks name. So as I, all right, go New York, go New York, go. That's right. Go New York, go New York. Come on. Back in it now. Haven't seen Spike in the building. I saw Patrick Ewing, the pride of Cambridge, Ringen Latin in Boston. I saw Clyde the Glide. You understand? We got another one to go. So back again on Tuesday for the real throwdown. See if we can get this thing even back up. Go New York. Go New York. Go. A lot like the Boston series. Okay? You know, Knicks, you know, they this because of the nucleus, and that's the whole theory. Talk about Pacers in 5. They can say what they want. People can say what they want. You guys, they meaning you, SandCity is here. No end in sight for this episode. Going to be here. Memorial Day weekend, okay? So we have time. I see some people with me on Twitter. I appreciate you. Okay, long way to go in this episode. You know what I mean? And the saga continues, right? What they say, you know what I mean? I born atomically. The Socrates philosophies and hypotheses. They can't describe how I be mocking these. The mockeries. They lyrically perform the arm, right? The saga continues right now. You understand? From Shaolin, all right, to the Boogie Down, to money earning Mount Vernon, okay, to the richest borough on the planet, Manhattan. The saga continues, folks. And this was a tough win, a tough win. And Brunson being in foul trouble, some decisions down the stretch. I thought we could have, you know, Tom Thibodeau's my coach. I'm keeping it a buck with you. I thought strategically could have done some things to put us in a little bit better position. That's just the bottom line. Too much Deuce on the ball. That's not his game. All right? That's not Deuce's game. Period, end story. I respect the straight line drive. I respect that he tried to drop the hammer. But that Spicy P was straight up. That could have been a no call going the other way. All right. And we had the turnover with K.A.T trying to get it to, on a face cut. That's not our offense. That's not offense in general. That's not a play that you go to in a must, in a got to get a possession. That's when we need Big Body Brunson out front or Mikal Bridges. What the heck are we doing? Why are we having Deuce on the ball like he's a playmaker and Mikal Bridges just standing in the corner like he's a spot-up shooter? Reverse those roles. It makes no sense. You act like Mikal Bridges ain't got handles. He has handles. And he's bigger. And he can put you on his hip, which he wants to do, and get to the elbow for that mid-range with the high release. What are we talking about here? He's bigger. He has just as good, if not better, handles. And it's a much different situation, to my point, if you have Mikal Bridges trying to attack the rim and drop the hammer on Spicy P. He can finish that play and dunk on him. So strategically down the stretch, we left some things out there. And of course, you got to get it right as an official under 4 and specifically under 2 minutes. It must be correct because the team does not have a chance to get those possessions back. So we gave away some possessions that, right? Game could have been tied or we could have been up, So instead of 2, you're up 4, right? That extra possession is just it's a monumental difference under 2 minutes. I got no problem with starting Mitch Robb in game 4. Okay, but that's not our best lineup. Start him, do some things, see what happens. But the best lineup is with Hart out there at the 4, right? You really have Mitch Robb there to protect K.A.T from getting stupid fouls because we don't need K.A.T to be a defensive stopper. He's not the defensive player. He comes from Kentucky, the Calipari tradition. Calipari knows how to recruit New Jersey for sure. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, St. Patrick's, DeJuan Wagner, Camden. All right, so Coach Cal going to recruit Jersey. We know this. All right, but my point with Karl-Anthony Towns is he was a better defender, I feel, earlier in his career. And, so he has defensive capabilities, but that's not his bag now later in his career. He didn't come into the NBA as a knockdown three-point shooter. He added that to his overall game. More of an offensive threat than a defensive threat. So we have Mitch Robb there to protect K.A.T. But if K.A.T has low fouls, then put Hart back out there, and that's the more dangerous lineup. We saw Hart out there. Excuse me, Hart is Hartstein, who's taking his talents to Oklahoma City. You saw Josh Hart out there getting those rebounds. He rebounds out of position. He can hit those threes. He can attack the basket. Is he a great three-point shooter? No. Will he make you pay occasionally? Yes. Will he get to the free throw line attacking the basket? Yes. Is he another primary ball handler? Yes. Do we need him to initiate offense? No. We need him to bring the ball up and give it to Brunson or Mikal Bridges. We need much more Mikal Bridges initiating offense. He's being underutilized, and I don't understand it. Get him on the ball. Get him in that screen roll. Mikal Bridges is not necessarily like a straight line. He needs to be in a screen roll. Put Mikal in the screen roll. He's not a 1-4 guy as much. Can he, again, if you switch him off on smaller defenders, Mikal Bridges can get to the elbow where he wants to get and hit that shot. That's what he wants to do. And he's a good enough ball handler that if you overplay, he can come back, cross you up. And now he has a wide open mid-range, or at 6'5", 6'6", he's much better attacking the basket and drawing fouls. Okay? So there's some things schematically that we have to incorporate and improve upon. But a huge win, a necessary win. And I'm saying, if you want to, stay with Mitch Robb in there to start. You don't have to just go back to your starting lineup. I would keep Mitch Robb out there for game 4 just to say, okay, this is what we did. We got the dub. Let's just keep it this way. But again, as far as it's not about who starts, it's about who finishes. Is my point. So you can keep Mitch Robb in starting lineup for the rest of the series, as far as I'm concerned, as long as Hart plays the lion's share of the minutes, because that's the best lineup. As far as listen, the Pacers, they're dangerous. They're a good team. I feel like this is just every game has been this way. Every single game has been in the margin. Either team could have won the game. To me, the Knicks gave away 2 of these 3 games. I don't think it's even a discussion about game 1. And hold on. The Knicks gave away game 1. Right? So now you can flip it. Keep game 1, they win game 2, close game. This could easily be 2-1 us. Indy, from their perspective, they didn't really do anything wrong. They did that's my point. They've been playing the same way they've been playing all series. It's just we didn't give away a game today. And some good, that was a huge, really good closeout by Mitch Robb on Turner. Okay, you just have to defend the 3-point line with Indiana. That's not a genius statement. It's clear. And this is where the Knicks, right? You want to talk about the Final Four that we have right now? This is a reason why a team like Oklahoma City is distinctively different. Is the reason a team like why the Western Conference teams, both of them, have defensive capabilities that these 2 Eastern Conference teams don't have. Indiana is a pace and space team. I love the way they play. Rick Carlisle, all right, been saying it. He's a tremendous coach. He's been a tremendous coach. But my point is, they're playing pace and space. What am I saying? I'm saying that both the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Minnesota Timberwolves have the ability to scramble, meaning to run teams off of that 3-point line and be able to recover and make multiple closeouts. Okay? We hear a lot about that with Oklahoma City. They're young. They got some just junkyard dogs defensively. Lou Dort, Caruso, Ihart, a Tibbs guy, others. Shea competes defensively, and he has good size. 6'5", 6'6", rather than 6'2", 6'3". So, the thing with the Knicks in terms of giving away game 1 is that we're not a really good scrambling team because K.A.T, that's not his bag anymore to be a defensive guy scrambling, multiple closeouts. And we know that that's not Big Body Brunson's game. So we rely, the last OG can certainly do it and do it at a high level. Mikal Bridges can do it and do it at a high level. And Josh Hart can do it and do it at a high level. You want to talk about minutes, I'll concede some, but not much. No allergies, you know what I mean? Pollen, all the rest of that stuff. I'm glad, these are good problems to have. But clearly, and there's no 2 ways about it, the Knicks specifically, Pacers to a lesser extent, but I'm making the same point. These Eastern Conference teams do not have the defensive prowess as the Western Conference teams. You're talking about a Jaden Daniels. You're talking about, obviously, a Rudy Gobert, multiple defensive player of the year, okay? Ant-Man can get out there and get after it. All right, Randall, not so much. Okay. Conley, so Minnesota, Conley's not a great, defensive energy guy, and neither is Julius Randle. But Gobert, Jaden Daniels, and Ant can get it done. So it's kind of similar in that capacity, but you're asking not really a lot because that's so that's what Josh Hart, Bridges, and OG, we just have to get better running these guys off the 3-point line and then making those multiple efforts. And at times, and this is where, OG, yes. OG, I got to watch him a little bit, because you don't want OG doing too much, honestly, because he's had injury issues. Bridges is an Iron Man, but I think sometimes there is a fatigue factor that sets in. You have TJ McConnell out there just cooking folks with the straight line drives, which is really unacceptable as far as I'm concerned. So I think this is where Bridges, can be that X factor because he deflections, redirections, just that run them off the 3-point line, recover, and keep them out, keep them out of the paint. All right, so we're going to go around the world. In this post game, huge win, needed win. Don't want to hear anything about Scott Foster being on the game. The referee, the officiating, did not decide this ball game. Really, what decided it is K.A.T going into his bag and just catching fire. That was the difference to bring the Knicks, and the Knicks kind of just hanging in there, not letting Indy push this to 20, keeping it at 15, keeping it at 13, keeping it at 11, right? Pacers had went up 20, the Knicks keeping it in that, there was a huge, to finish the third quarter, right? The way the Knicks finished the third quarter and stabilized, so it's 13-15 rather than 17-19, 21, right? That's the pivotal swing. And then in the fourth, K.A.T gets hot, confidence builds, right? And we keeps it moving and grooving from there. All right, so a little bit more basketball, folks. And then we have a lot of things to get to in this episode, a tremendous amount. A lot of slice of life to get to. And it's a beautiful thing. Tennis going on, French Open, Indiana 500, the Indy 5. Okay, so let's take a look. We'll take one more look at the Final Four, and then we'll keep moving and grooving to these other things that we're going to be talking about. Hope everybody out there is doing well. SandCity Sports, your boy, the K.A.T Kid. Okay, sports news and commentary for the fans, with the fans, the whole 9 yards. Okay. No, I don't want to go there just yet. Yes, this is what I needed. That's the art that I needed. Tibbs on the podium. Goodness. Yes. Minor technical delays. All right, folks. So, what's the deal with this Final Four? Okay. As we push off, this is a solid game. Again, I know my Pacers fans are heated, just like the New York fandom has been heated to this point. So it is what it is from that capacity. But let's summarily full picture. Okay, so as far as these guys on the outside, the Knicks have given themselves a little bit of space. They're not kind of right because they're up against the ropes, and the Pacers are right there to deliver that knockout punch. And obviously, 3-0 would have signaled that. I was ready to go into the situation of the Celtics being down 3-0 to the Miami Heat and coming back all the way to tie it up at 3-3. And then Miami on the road slammed the door shut in embarrassing fashion for Boston. Talk a little bit about Boston before we move on to the other sports, because of the need to keep the Celtics together, which I've noted before. Second apron, I don't care. Obviously, hundreds of millions of dollars. You need to care, but guys do have the ability to take a little bit less, and you just have to. Frankly, that's how teams are going to have to move now in this second apron world. The Knicks have already done it. Brunson, Mikal Bridges, okay, structuring their deals in a way that allows them to stay together, and that's what more and more NBA teams are going to have to do in order to deal with the second apron. Okay, or you can just break up your championship teams because you're not going to win a championship team is a championship team, period. And to say that we can just move this guy out and put this guy in, it's not how it works. It's not how it works. I'll use the example of the Denver Nuggets, who had to move out secondary pieces. Bruce Bowen. Get this guy's name. Just make sure I got that guy's name. Bruce Brown. I always call him Bruce Bowen, who played for the Spurs. That's what I'm getting confused with. It's Bruce Brown. So I've been saying that wrong for a time. I'm glad I double checked that. But there's a lot, of conversation, that he was a Mike Malone guy, and they got rid of him because they couldn't afford him and going in the second apron. I think Christian Braun, but it's taken Christian Braun time to kind of grow into that role versus if you had kept him. And I don't think that was the reason they lost in Minnesota. I think they just lost because they lost. But it's the standpoint of the second apron teams and players need to be strategic in terms of, staying together versus, I know you want to go out there and get all your money, but everyone's not going to be like an iHeart who's going to go from the Knicks championship contending team to the Thunder, a championship contending team, and still get all his money. So you're not always going to be able to do that. That's just, how I feel about it. On the outside here, Indiana's still in the, advantage. Okay. And, the Knicks, you got to both finish games and then not keep having yourself up against the freaking wall. Okay. The Celtics series, unfortunate with Tatum. You never want to see that. Period. But the Knicks kept getting behind big, staying together, which I credit, and coming back and winning those games. Okay. That's not how you're going to win a championship. That's not what happened in game one where the Knicks, So it's got to be, as they say, shout out to Hoop Creams, shout out to Coach Bedford, we need a full game. Knicks need a full game. Win game 4 by 10, by 15. A full game. Be the Milwaukee Bucks in 2021, who went down 0-2 against the Suns and then won 4 straight. Because again, Indiana, for as dangerous as this team is, and the heavy hands and the forcefulness, you know what I mean? This Indiana Pacers team, Uncle Phil'd the Cleveland Cavaliers out of the playoffs. They DJ Jazzy Jeff'd the Cleveland Cavaliers out of the playoffs. You know what I'm talking about. I said, you know what I mean? How DJ Jazzy Jeff used to get hurled out of the house, out of Uncle Phil's domain. That's what happened to the Cleveland Cavaliers, who by far were the best team in the Eastern Conference in the regular season, at the hands of the Indiana Pacers. They hurled them out of the playoffs with reckless abandon. So they're dangerous. But the fact of the matter is, the matchup, the Knicks match up better with them. Okay? And have, right? They're not Now, this is a game where the Indiana got a big lead, but the first two games have been right in the margin. In the first game, the Knicks had that game in hand. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm looking for. You have this game in hand. It's a good matchup. Okay? You want Mitch Rob versus Hart, whatever you want to say. Obviously, Spicy P is a problem. We know Halliburton is a problem. They have the others, Nemhart, Miles Turner, but pound for pound, we're better. The Knicks are better. Meaning we got Big Body Brunson. We got Catmandu. We got Mikal Bridges. Like, who is okay? You got Halliburton. So you got Halliburton, Spicy P, and Miles Turner. We got Brunson, Cat, and Mikal Bridges. I take our big three versus their big three. Or our best three, big three, whatever. Then you got OG and Hart, your energy, grit, grime guys, grit and grind guys. Which, it's just these matchups are winnable for us. That's what I'm saying. There's no reason why Spicy P can go out there and cook, but Mikal Bridges can't go out there and cook. Okay, and yeah, Halliburton's going to get his, but Brunson's going to get his too. The Neesmith injury was important today. And we don't want to, we don't want anything gifted, so I'm looking for Neesmith to be back and them at full strength because, again, he's one of these difference makers, and obviously, but so that's what I'm looking for the Knicks and Indy. They can reverse that. They can get up big and just keep the lead and just drop the hammer on the Knicks, go up 3-1. It's in the balance. Okay, these guys here, and I have to make this comparison. As far as Ant-Man is concerned, he reminds me a lot of Kevin Garnett when he was in Minnesota. And what happened in those years when Garnett was in Minnesota, he kept getting mad dogged by Tim Duncan in the Spurs. Now, yes, the Spurs were the better overall team up until 2004 when he got reinforcements, specifically Sam Cassell. Okay, and that team, right, his 04 team, when he had Cassell in there to run the point, when he had, they kept Wally Serbiak. Might have had Spreewell. If I'm not, I mean, Garnett's 04 team was his best team when they broke through to the conference finals, and he had, a chance, a legitimate chance to break through. But, outside of that, Garnett, he just kept getting mad, like Tim Duncan, like in those matchups, and the Spurs were the overall better team, but Tim Duncan was the overall better player. I said it. In those matchups. Okay, then Kevin goes with the Boston. He has, and the rest is history. Wins a championship, makes another NBA Finals. Could have been 3 straight. Could have, would have, should have. If he didn't have the ACL in the second year, which is unfortunate. Right. So for Ant, my point is, like, when is he gonna win these matchups, these mano-a-manos, right? Like, just pound for pound. Ant on one side, Shea on the other side. I'm better. I'm going to show you that I'm the better player. Now, it's not a, because you're talking about an MVP, and Shea deserves to be the MVP. And frankly, the Thunder, they seem to be more together. Even though Minnesota has taken, but that's what I feel about this series. Kevin Garnett, arguably, all those years in Minnesota, was the best player in the league, pound for pound. He didn't have the best teams, as I said. He couldn't. Once Marbury left, and that was crazy, because really the big three that we had in 2008, that should have been what Kevin Garnett had they kept Ray Allen, who they drafted, who would have had no problem being in Minnesota and would have stayed. And that could have been 2 guys from South Carolina, by the way. That and but Garnett was huge. And, this is one thing where we see it where ownership has to say no to people. You just have to say no. Like they should have said no to Giannis when, he was, wanted the trade for Damian Lillard. And they should have said no to Giannis when he wanted to get rid of Coach Bud. And he went, well, I'm leaving. Okay, well, you can leave after we win another championship. Okay? Because there's just great players don't make great coaches. Great players don't make great general managers. Not everybody's Tom Brady. Tom Brady, as a general manager, is responsible for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Super Bowl as much as anybody else. Because Tom Brady's the one that brought AB in and had him stay, able to make it through a season. Tom Brady's the one that brought Rob Gronkowski in for that first championship. And who's the ones that were scoring who was the folks that was catching Super Bowl touchdowns in the well, it's obviously Super Bowl. AB and Rob Gronkowski, who Tom Brady specifically put on the roster and had put in position to be successful. Okay, but teams, that's not. And by the way, Tom Brady did that as a 40-year-old. He didn't do that as a 23-year-old. Giannis a little bit older, more, but still. Minnesota in that instance, you say okay, and that was the kind of the time, right? Because Shaq said he wanted to play with Penny, and so they brought in Penny, and it worked. But from Minnesota's standpoint, that's one of these things where they didn't do their due diligence clearly because Marbury was there for one season and he bounced and it just destroyed everything else. And they never got somebody to replace him. And that person that should have replaced him would have been Ray Allen. And then you're talking about a whole different trajectory. If it's Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett that are growing together over the course of their career. And again, they're both from South Carolina. Neither one of them has a problem with the freezing cold temperatures. And that was evidenced by the fact that Ray Allen spent the majority of his early career in Milwaukee. Right? So you never know, right? Things can just be swimming and, it just seems like it's going to work and things seem to be flowing the right direction. But you don't tighten that one screw. Shout out to Will Gates and Hoop Dreams, and everything just collapses. Am I blaming Kevin McHale? No, I'm not. I'm not putting all the blame, but the due diligence clearly wasn't done there. To not to know that Stephon Marbury was not going to be happy in Minnesota. Like they made that trade on draft day versus, waiting. You don't have to make that. I mean, you could see in retrospect. In hindsight's 2020. Like, yes, this is a priority you don't have to make the deal on draft day just because just because Weber was traded for Anthony Hardaway on draft day. If you're not sure it's going to work, like again, let's talk about Golden State. A little bit of a different circumstance because Golden State at that particular point in time, but they were still in the Run TMC era. But Golden State, you trade Anthony Hardaway for Chris Webber, and then, Chris Webber goes there. He ends up beefing with Nelly, and he's only there for 1 year. Versus you could have had Anthony Hardaway. So, hindsight's 2020. All I'm saying, right, is that we'll bring it back here. Ant-Man, you're looking like that. Here's a connection all the way, the connection back. You have a team around you. Kevin Garnett did not have teams around him in Minnesota. He talks about the loyalty hurting him. He just didn't. Ant-Man, you have a team around you. You can match up mano a mano with the Thunder. They're more together. There's no slight on, Minnesota because you brought in Randall. It's taken some time. And Minnesota they do have a continuity. They're not bickering amongst each other so on and forth. It's just a little bit different than the Thunder, like they've been building this for a little bit longer. But this is, there's more blame for Ant-Man than there is for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for not breaking through. He's older. Or they might have come in the league around, but might be around the same age. He might actually be a little bit younger, actually. But in terms of, his rise is a little bit ahead of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's kind of been, and then now it's kind of ramped up. But we shall see. Again, the only reason not the only reason, but again, to my point, is because this is Ant's second straight Western Conference Finals. Right? It's the second time you've been in this situation and come up short. Okay? I got Knicks and Wolves. No, let me back up. Knicks, obviously, and just a toss-up out west. I picked Minnesota, so that was my, but in terms of what I'm seeing, Minnesota hasn't really shown me. They mollywopped them yesterday. I gotcha, but I need to see another drubbing before I'm feeling some confidence. It looked like Oklahoma City kind of just pulled the dogs off, and you're gonna win by whatever, and now they're this game 4 is when they're really gonna, can Minnesota withstand Oklahoma City really coming for the gentleman's sweep in game 4? I need to see it. I can trust, but I need verification. Let's go around and see what people are thinking, people are feeling on this Sunday edition, Memorial Day weekend, holiday weekend. Woo! I see some people with me on Twitter, and I appreciate you. I appreciate the folks on Twitter that's rocking with me. And we're going to keep on moving and grooving. We got a lot to get to as we move from the NBA. Let's take a look. Let's check out the NFL. Spend some time there. The Jets play the Eagles. So NFL, I want to, first of all, credit folks for doing the right thing and keeping the tush push. So we got to talk about tush push. Shout out to the Philadelphia Inquirer. Wanted to get an image. The Inquirer says, no, you must subscribe. I got you. But I can't subscribe just yet. So we'll go over to Yahoo Sports and rock with them for a bit. We'll rock with Yahoo Sports. Talk some NFL. The tennis fans, so we got to touch on the French Open. Then we'll get into our slice of life. We got a lot of slice of life for today, just in terms of some gems. There's a lot of gems on the social media. Words of knowledge and wisdom that we're going to get into. Okay, so as I've said, first of all, Packers, what are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, a team of Vince Lombardi having a problem with a mono play like this makes no sense to me. Okay, remember your history. 3 yards of cloud of dust out there playing on the frozen tundra. This is what it's all about. That's A. B. All right, you got a problem with something, you just stop it, man. Okay, the tush push, right? So a player pushes another player. So a linebacker can push a defense. It's the same thing on both sides. Okay, so Barkley is pushing this guy forward. Your linebackers can be pushing your defensive lineman forward. Your safety can come over the top. It's a beautiful play. Just reminded of some of my antics in my formative years. It's just, all the parties and the running around, and now working with the young people. And it's, but, you used to have, you play capture the flag and all these games when you're just running around and, so the tush, just stack the box. Everybody, you're in the goal line formation, and it stops somebody. That's what it comes down to. Stack the box and stop somebody. Okay, so I don't see what the problem is. Well, the player can push the player forward. Yes, and you can push your players forward at the point of attack. It's equal on both sides. We always had the quarterback sneak. Like, I don't know when this became a problem, except when the Eagles utilized, and this, this is not the first team. You go back to USC when they were winning the championships with Matt Leinart, in 4th and short, and you can push that guy forward. Until the forward progress is stopped, you're good to go. So stop the forward progress. I don't see it, And then the other issue about concussion, the concussion is high rates of speed. People are running high rates of speed and exploding into, this is all in close proximity. It's, like, what are you doing? Two people, you have a shouting match, or a shoving match. You're just moving, guys up, just moving them back. And these plays are also optimal opportunities where the contact can be on your shoulder versus your head. You're pushing from here forward. You're not, it's not two people's heads banging against each other. So I never had a problem with it. I enjoy it. 4th and inches, 4th and short. You got the big boys up front. And stop it. Get off the ball and push them back. All right, so NFL got that one right. Okay, have it next year. People upset the Eagles. All right, and again, I was on the Lions. I'm from, New Jersey. Got family in Philly. Root for the Eagles. I call them the Eagles, not the Eagles. The Eagles, right? And but not even if it was another team, I would still say, like, it's just a great play. It's a even better play for me because it's a team that I have history with. Right, we're going all the way back to Randall Cunningham. Okay, the love for the Eagles, and I just the green, I just rock with them. It's just cool. Okay, tip my hat, NFL. Right, as much as we have to understand, and we got to have safety first and do these things to make the game as safe as possible. But the tush push is not, it's a safe play with a tremendous amount of contact. But I feel, it's much safer than some of the other plays that the NFL really has to grapple with. Okay, let's discuss another elephant in the room. there's some hints that have been dropped and recently, so I'm glad we're discussing this. Might come up, might be able to come over here. Rodgers. So A-Rod ruled out playing for the Saints. Team that might play in Chicago for a road trip. All right, this is poor. You can't see what I'm seeing, so let's share the screen. Or we got to stop sharing one screen, start sharing another. And then we'll move on to some slice of life stuff. Look, is Aaron Rodgers going to move the needle for the Steelers in the AFC North? Yes. Is this essentially Mike Tomlin's last stand? Yes. His hardest coaching circumstance? Yes. Right? Yeah, he coached Big Ben. Big Ben was drafted by the Steelers, came up in that organization. Okay? Aaron Rodgers is a hired gun. Okay? He's a mercenary. Right? Okay, he talent, fine. But I say those things from the standpoint that the Steelers pride themselves on the standard is the standard. The Steelers pride themselves on continuity over generations. You know, having 3 head coaches in the last, 60, 70 years. It's about stability. It's about the culture, the process. Hasn't gleaned or produced a number of Super Bowls. Never mind, the glory days in the 70s. But they're always there and they're always in the mix. So you bring in somebody who assertively walks to the beat of his own drum. And then this drawn out process to even get, what are they saying? Somebody tells you who they are, believe them. So the way this is playing itself out going into the season and him not being in Pittsburgh, not being at the facility, doesn't have to do all the OTAs, doesn't have to do all that stuff. It's particularly at his age. It can be individualized. Obviously, the number one thing is that he does not, get injured the first, first to fourth, what am I trying to say? Doesn't get injured in the first game early on. So that's the most important thing. So the individual training, making sure his body is right. But this, yes, it's Mike Tomlin's last stand and hardest coaching coaching assignment. Because say what you want to say. I can't get over. I'm not, him pushing Robert Saleh when Robert Saleh tried to dap him up. Now, I can only imagine. But who's to say that he's not going to do that with Mike Tomlin? When things go sideways, Aaron's going to go, and they are going to go sideways. Never mind because they play in a beast of a conference with the Baltimore Ravens. You want to talk about my issues? And that is not an issue, but Anthony Edwards, it's time to step up. It's time to shine. Not missing your moment and your opportunity. Well, that's the Baltimore Ravens. A team with, that's looking like the Buffalo Bills. Always a bridesmaid, never a bride. When are they going to break through? If they're there, and you're only for a moment, then the moment's gone. A little bit of Journey. The Steelers, you got the Bengals, who, if they can, stay healthy and keep Joe Burrow upright, they're so two teams with championship aspirations, no doubt about it. Then the Steelers, the Browns, okay, rebuilding. But you never know. Shador Sanders gets an opportunity, gets out there. They obviously have a defense. I'm fascinated because of this ideological, philosophical, cultural divergence. I'm not going to say clash. Whereas Aaron Rodgers does things his way, and that's just what's going to happen. And the Steelers do things their way. Will Mike Tomlin have that Jason Kidd in him to get through to Aaron Rodgers, the way that Jason Kidd got through to Kyrie Irving, to the point where he has his best season ever in the NBA, and the Dallas Mavericks break through to the NBA Finals, which they weren't going to win under any circumstances under a dynastic Boston Celtics team, which needs to stay together. Period. End of story. All talk about them breaking this team up is breaking up their dynasty, their window of winning stacked championships. Boston Celtics, and that includes Crispy P. All right, Al Horford's not getting any younger. They don't have a replacement for Crispy P off the bench. They need that starting five back in its totality. If that means, Peyton Pritchard, I love Peyton Pritchard, keep him. But if that means, they need the starting five back. Okay, no replacement. We'll get back to this. You replace Kendrick Perkins with Mehmet Okur, whoever the heck they replaced. A service. It's not the same. It's not going to work. Team has to come back. If that means you got to catch some second apron fire for a year, this new ownership, catch it. And then as these deals, as Drew Holiday's, the Drew Holiday's next deal, then, that's when we can, and Tatum and Brown, Tatum and Brown are locked into their maxes. Holiday, Derek White, restructure. Crispy P, restructure. And then do it that way. Everybody take a little bit less, as my Knicks did, to stay together, or go back to being losers. Period. End of story. Specific now to this. Okay. Can Mike Tomlin get through to Aaron Rodgers? Can Aaron Rodgers respect the historic franchise enough to make this work? To do what the Milwaukee Bucks did this year, a team that started as a dumpster fire, but then and is going to get blown up. But we knew they were going to get blown up because it was going nowhere. Never mind the fact that you lost Drew Holiday, but as chance would have it, you gave Drew Holiday to your fiercest rival. Right? The Bucks and the Celtics competing for championships, for competing, to go to the finals, and then you lose a player, but you get Dame Lillard, but that player that you lost ends up going to the team that you're battling with. It just, you can't make this stuff up. So it's an unmitigated disaster for Milwaukee. And never mind the fact that, again, back to Stephon Marbury, who could have been Ray Allen, partnering him with Kevin Garnett, and Minnesota having a nucleus for some championship years. Instead, you go, Marbury, Garnett, which would have been a champion, had they stayed together, you only get 1 year of that, and then you're on your own. You're on your own. What does this have to do with Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers? Okay, when the rubber meets the road, Can these guys stay together, weather the storms? And then you say to yourself, okay, I got Aaron Rodgers, so I'm obviously going to have a much better offense. They have weapons. They can run the ball, so the offense can do some things. They have a stalwart defense. Now you're talking about, if you get on the same page, causing some problems for the Baltimore Ravens, whose window is closing, and that's just the way it is. Causing some problems for the Cincinnati Bengals, two teams that they're not more talented than. Period. End of story. Because they don't have as good the most important player in football and arguably in all of sports. Joe Burrow is a dude. He's a monster, right? And you got two MVP level quarterbacks in your division. That's what you have. Right. So from the Steelers standpoint, I can understand under that scenario how we need to get somebody, and how they're willing to kind of bend a little bit from their practices and principles. But this could be a Trojan horse, and that's just clear. All the way back to Milwaukee, what I was referencing them is that they had great professionalism. You didn't early on in the season, Giannis, it wasn't going anywhere. Dame didn't want to be there, and again, somebody that doesn't, it's going to take time to somebody that doesn't want to be there, that's angry. Now you have to try to get them to buy in, and just so you can stay afloat. You're already going to be getting clobbered by Cleveland, clobbered by the Knicks, clobbered by the Celtics. So you're taking all these punches anyway, and there's instability within the organization. I credit Doc Rivers and I credit those guys their professionalism, saying, how we can bicker and moan and complain and just, have all this stuff out there and all of this stuff churning while we're losing, or we can just keep all that stuff on the back burner. Yes, Dame, you're probably out of here after this year. Giannis, you're probably out of here after this year, because we've seen where this thing is going. Now, minutes with Milwaukee, they brought in Kuzma, but then Dame gets hurt. Kuzma wasn't going to help them win the East under any circumstances, but it was an effort. The fact of the matter is the window had closed. They tried to do, to capture lightning in the bottle, to keep it open, and that only made it quicker. It only solidified, which is not the correct, it only solidified is the word we'll go with, that the window for the Bucks ended. The move that they made to extend the window essentially ended the window. But then you have a whole NBA season to deal with. And so my point and the connecting point to the Steelers is Doc Rivers needs to be credited with creating a stability where Minnesota, they're the 5 seed, 4 seed, and they just play out the string, and they do it in a way, Giannis All-NBA first team, tough injury for Dame, that serves the fans well. It serves the individual players well. They get their awards, their accolades, and now it's time for the parting of the ways. This mercurial, NBA, Mavericks with a 1.8% chance after they orchestrated what I feel is the worst trade in NBA history. Now the Mavericks have a chance to, have prosperity. You bring in Cooper, and you're back in the mix. Okay, it has nothing to do. If I'm Dallas, I know that their windows don't line up where we could trade Cooper and get Giannis and yada yada yada. No, because you have no idea if that's going to work. And you're not sure if it's going to work with Kyrie, a young Gazelle, and Cooper and Anthony Davis. So you got two guys, injury prone, who are towards the tail end, and this young, so they're not symmetrical. I get that. But the faith in the fan base has been restored. The kid has proven that he can get through to Kyrie before, get through to him now. AD, you really have nowhere else to go. So you might, don't have it be a Lamar Odom situation where he goes to Dallas, which essentially ended his career because he was so furious the Lakers traded him or thought to trade him in the first place, which it's all in the game. Anybody can be traded, but Lamar couldn't get over it. He actually could have just went back to the Lakers with the anger that he had and just, again, stay with the Lakers and extended his career. But he was so angry, trade me. He goes to Dallas. He doesn't want to be there. It doesn't, and then it's just the career's over. So in Dallas, it's tough. If I'm Kyrie, you can take me from a championship window where they were going to championships. Not that they were the favorites, but they were making it there. They had a scheme that worked, that they were just beating teams. And now you just put me in a situation where I'm not going to championships. I have to do, you put me in there with this wet behind the ears kid. Kyrie is not necessarily, the guy to mentor and nurture. He's the guy to do his own thing. And, but maybe that's, he's happy in Dallas. He can do that. Just like Chris Paul is happy in San Antonio to be the grand old man, the senior statesman. What does this have to do with the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers? What does this have to do with Milwaukee? The fact of the matter is, the Spurs getting the number 2 pick overall. Now you can leverage that to possibly bring in a Giannis, since he's out of Milwaukee, to just form a super team with Giannis, De'Aaron Fox, and Wemby and Castle. Miami's in the conversation for Giannis. Golden State's in the conversation for Giannis, but it's done in Minnesota. Back to the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers. When things go sideways, can they stay together? Because if they can't stay together, there's no reason why. First of all, they'll be a good team. Their offense will click and work, and they have a tremendous defense. And then you're talking about a situation where, Aaron Rodgers can go toe to toe with Joe Burrow in this pity pat. It's not a pity pat. That's not what I mean. But you can't hit quarterbacks anymore. So, the Steelers, now he's been injured, but you put a situation together where Aaron Rodgers stays upright. He's not taking these big hits. He's in, the training regimen, so he's not going to blow a gasket again. And it's just mano a mano, Joe Burrow out there slinging it. And, he can sling it with the best of them is the point. And in that scenario, you can put yourself in a position to win some of these divisional Super Bowl type matchups. Super Bowl, divisional Super Bowl preparing matchups with an Aaron Rodgers who's out there, got the offense going on all cylinders, your stalwart defense, and you're in the mix. Or they can hit the crossroads. Aaron Rodgers can be Aaron Rodgers and get frustrated. I struggle with lack of patience. It's just, you're impatient at times. So you get the rubber hits the road. Aaron Rodgers gets frustrated. And then both people give each other the ultimatums. Neither one's backing down, and then it just spirals downhill. Tomlin's not backing down. He's been there, you're Aaron Rodgers. I respect you, but I've been here for, 2 decades. So you're not going to tell me what to do. I'm Aaron Rodgers. I'm a first ballot Hall of Famer. You're not going to tell me what to do. Nobody can tell anybody anything, and it just spirals downhill. That's what could happen. I'm pulling for them to be on the same page and for the AFC North to just be the monster that it is, and one of those teams to break through and get to a Super Bowl and win it and spread the wealth. That's what I'd like to see. Who knows? Go around the world. Sunday edition, Memorial Day weekend, nice weather. Hope everybody's doing good. SandCity Sports buying for the fans. Okay, we rocking. Across the board, the socials. Twitter, I appreciate everybody that's rocking with us on Twitter. Jump in the comments. All right, so we're going to stop sharing that screen. And we're back. We're back rocking with you, folks. Let's get organized here. Move this over there. And what I was saying is, I appreciate everybody. And on the Twitter, I'm checking the comments. I appreciate the views. If you have something, see something, say something, let me know. It's baseball season. It's Memorial Day weekend. Baseball season. Weather gets nice now. I can go out there. I can't do the cold weather games out here. I'm not that committed I'm not that loyal to the soil. But now that the weather gets nice, I'll go out there and support some games. Go to my Cape League games. And as this time it's great. It's a beautiful thing. But as far as baseball is concerned, right? I just get a smile on my face for Bobby Bonilla Day. Speaking of taking less, before we get into the slice of life, let's give a shout out because I know it's only Memorial Day. We got some time to go. But right. We got a little bit of time to go, but this is the gift that keeps on giving. We talk about teams, specifically the Celtics, and what you need to do to deal with this second apron and keep yourself together, to keep yourself, competing for championships. Shout out to Bobby Bonilla and Bobby Bonilla Day. We got what? We got another decade of Bobby Bonilla days. You know what I mean? Life is life, and certainly have a lot to be thankful for and fortunate for in your life that you don't consider. And obviously there's troubles and challenges and things that you have to do that push you to your limits. But there's also just, there's the good stuff. And Bobby Bonilla Day, I just getting that 1 million change for 24 years and 10 more years. You manage your money right. Right? What did we learn from Broke? Shout out to 30 for 30. Shout out to ESPN. You can be king for a year, or you can be Prince for the rest of your life. Shout out to Prince. This will be the day that I will always say that I will never run away. Prince, man. Some of my family members, I've just learned, that they were great musicians in their day. And my cousin Marky, I call him Uncle because he was older. He's from a different generation, from my parents' generation. I called him Uncle Marky. He was really my cousin, but just a great musician that people would talk about. How tremendous he was as a musician in his day. So when I think about Prince, I always think about cousin dash Uncle Marky. If I gave you diamonds and pearls, right? The diamonds and pearls, folks. That's how I feel about Bobby Bonilla Day. That diamonds and pearls love. And also, again, something instructive for the folks. Structure the deals, spread it out over time. Shohei has a deal like this where the money is spread out so the team has flexibility. He's getting all of his money, but it's over time so the team can make the moves that it needs to make in order and, see the success. They got a World Series championship just last year. Just last year, they got that World Series championship. Shout out to Bobby Bonilla Day. Shout out to SandCity Sports, by the fans, for the fans, out here on this Sunday edition. Huge win. You know what it is. You know what this is, folks. You know what this is, folks. Huge win for my New York Knicks. Honor and a privilege, folks. We going right from here, SandCity Sports. And we haven't even, because we gotta do Slice of Life. We got a lot of stuff to get to in terms of Slice of Life. But when this episode ends, we got Sports Fluent is on tonight. Knicks Fan TV is on tonight. So one thing ends, another one's gonna begin. And we're just gonna keep rocking. We're gonna keep moving and grooving, folks. Keep moving and grooving as we get into the Slice of Life. Already I'm seeing stuff that I want to get to. I'm gonna have to come back to that. We're gonna do the videos. All right, so we'll start off on the we'll start off in terms of the culture, and then we'll get to sports in a second. But no better place to start off. We're starting off in the culture. And I hope let me just come here. I can't stand when that happens. So for some reason, the IG will go out on me. The IG feed will go out when we do the slice of life, because a lot of this is on IG. It is what it is. Sometimes it stays and sometimes it just fades out. It is what it is. Try to find a wraparound for that. But this is, former president and successful president, as far as I'm concerned, and we'll just leave it at that. But don't ever let nobody make you feel some type of way that's not what you're capable of. And this is something, we talk about, you got to do it yourself, but kind of speaks to it.
Do not let people think you do not belong. Once you sit at these tables with folks with fancy titles and you talk to them and you go, oh, they ain't all that. This idea that somehow they're so special, they're so smart, they're so sophisticated. Not really. They've been exposed. They've been given the confidence of feeling like they belong. But if you sit down and talk to them, turns out, that's my point. And the benefit for Michelle and me, because we came up, and at each stage, you go to Harvard and wow, it's Harvard. And then you find out, oh, Harvard's full of some fools and people that you would not put in charge of anything, but they're there. And there's some really amazing, brilliant people too. And then you go to the US Senate and you look around and everybody's represented, smart people and dumb people, good people and bad people. Now suddenly you're meeting at the group of 7 world leaders are all in a room, or the United Nations. And same thing. Turns out that there's some really smart, amazing world leaders, and there's some fools running countries. Do not let people think you do not belong. Once you sit at these tables with folks with fancy titles and you talk to them and you go, oh, they ain't all that. This idea that somehow they're so special, they're so smart, they're so sophisticated. Not really. They've been exposed. They've been given the confidence of feeling like they belong. But if you sit down and talk to them, turns out, that's my point. And the benefit for Michelle and me, because we came up, and at each stage, you go to Harvard and wow, it's Harvard. And then you find out, oh, Harvard's full of some fools and people that you would not put in charge of anything, but they're there. And there's some really amazing, brilliant people too. And then you go to the US Senate and you look around and everybody's represented, smart people and dumb people, good people and bad people. Now suddenly you're meeting at the group of 7 world leaders are all in a room, or the United Nations. And same thing. Turns out that there's some really smart, amazing world leaders, and there's some fools running countries. Amazing world leader.
So just on both sides of it, right? To me, that's the entire spectrum. From the standpoint of, don't let nobody dictate or make you feel some type of a way, because a lot of that's smoke and mirrors, insecurities and hiding things. You put the work in, you want to do it for the right reasons, go get it. So that's coming from the highest levels. Talk about leaders of the free world are saying it. So so there we go. Again, when we talk about, let's get another perspective in terms of just what it takes at the highest levels. Let's get another perspective here. Let's keep it moving and grooving.
What do you say to all of the entrepreneurs who are out there who don't want to raise capital, but because they don't want to give up equity?
They're going to give it up anyway. So you can look at it a different way. People don't understand that it's not the equity that matters. It's the power. It's the vote. I have seen, and I've personally seen in this industry, people keep 70% of their company, but then get in a financial crunch, take bad money, and then all of a sudden, not only do they not have the equity, now they don't have the power. And they don't have the equity because they lost the power. And so you have to really look at how much does Mark Zuckerberg own of his company? How much does Jeff Bezos own of his company? How much does Elon own? When you start looking at the fact that most of them are in the teens, it's not the equity piece, it's the control. So you want to see anybody who did it brilliantly, it's Mark Zuckerberg. He made sure that there were two different voting classes, and he was serious about nobody can outvote him. He literally, I don't think Mark owns even 18% at this point, but he can't be outvoted. That's what matters. And that's something that we have to learn as a group of people. We will let our businesses fail because we are holding on to equity. Equity doesn't matter because if you're successful, you can go back and buy as much as you want. The banks will help you to do that. What matters is don't give up the vote.
What do you say to all of the entrepreneurs who are out there who don't want to raise capital because they don't want to give up equity?
They're going to give it up anyway. So you can look at it a different way. People don't understand that it's not the equity that matters. It's the power. It's the vote. I have seen, and I've personally seen in this industry, people keep 70% of their company, but then get in a financial crunch, take bad money, and then all of a sudden, not only do they not have the equity, now they don't have the power. And they don't have the equity because they lost the power. And so you have to really look at how much does Mark Zuckerberg own of his company? How much does Jeff Bezos own of his company? How much does Elon own? When you start looking at the fact that most of them are in the teens, it's not the equity piece, it's the control. So you want to see anybody who did it brilliantly, it's Mark Zuckerberg. He made sure that there were two different voting classes, and he was serious about nobody can outvote him. He literally, I don't think Mark owns even 18% at this point, but he can't be outvoted. That's what matters. And that's something that we have to learn as a group of people. We will let our businesses fail because we are holding on to equity. Equity doesn't matter because if you're successful, you can go back and buy as much as you want. The banks will help you to do that. What matters is don't give up the vote.
What do you say?
So a lot there, just absolutely tremendous. And I just need to comment on that from the standpoint of shout out to the Social Network. Based on the book, Ben Mesrich, The Accidental Billionaires, a well done film. Very well done. Shout out to David Fincher of Fight Club and Seven fame as the director. So it's just wonderful. The Social Network, check it out. But it looks at what it really hammers home there about Mark Zuckerberg, and I think is that you're not going to take my thing from me. This whole idea that Facebook is free and it always will be, and that the battle, like we need to monetize it. We need to no. We need to make this cool. We need to make this that's something that people want to have. And again, now we know, that data is king. That he understood at a very young age and from the beginning that the other side of it, just monetize it, make people pay for it. You have now that you have all, now just start the price gouging. Let's get it going immediately. And he, to his credit, understood that that's not the best way to do things, because we can get it. He's top 5, top 10, over $200 billion. So and Facebook is still free, and IG is still free, and all these other things are still free, and consumed by whatever percentage of the world's population. Versus if you had the ridiculous, then you're gonna lose people. I have Netflix. I don't watch it as much as I should. There's so much great stuff that I just don't have the time to watch it. But why am I paying $18? Wasn't it just $10? Why is it $18? You know, what the heck is what's going on? And then now, it's one of these costs that I really don't even think about. I'm kind of like the real MVP. Whereas like I got a couple people that are on the, and Netflix has stepped their game up where more than 2 people can't be watched, but I'm never watching it, so the other people can watch it. I'm never watching it because there's just all this great content, and I'm watching other stuff. But I do think to myself, like, what, like the 18 kind of hurts versus like I had no problem with the 10, even though, but the 18 is I might have to get rid of this. We never think that about Facebook or about Instagram, about with the other stuff that Mark Zuckerberg owns. We just consume it. I'm done with this episode. I'm going to tune in to Sports Fluent. Shout out to Sports Fluent. I'm going to tune in to Knicks Fan TV. I'm going to say my happy birthdays because that's important to me. What the heck are we friends for if I can't even say happy birthday to you? We don't even need to be friends. Oh, I got 3,000 friends and I'm this. You don't even say happy birthday to people. Now, do what you do. I do that because that's just personal for me. I didn't say happy birthday to somebody years ago because they didn't say hi to me or something. I was, I didn't forget that person. I'm not going to say happy birthday to them. And then what Facebook, because it does keep us connected. And everything there's good and bad, but it's good to be connected and to celebrate with people and to mourn and grieve with people and that type of stuff. But, the person I didn't say happy birthday to, like a couple of weeks later, they post and there's like, they were going through some things, and they said, I just want to apologize. And I've been going through some stuff. And I was like, man, I had no idea, and I was like, that gave me some perspective on why we had our differences. And then from then on, I said, if we're friends, I got to say happy birthday. There's no point in us being, if I can't at least say happy birthday to you. Maybe you'll say happy birthday to me, maybe not, who cares? But, just this makes no sense. But the point beyond this is it's free and always will be. And, Mark, and it's cool, right? It's cool. And again, now they have all this data. They can anticipate, they give us, they know us better than we know ourselves, allegedly, and possibly in certain instances. But so he was right about how he structured it. But the most what this thing is saying with this piece is that, if it's your thing and you're the best at running it, then it's going to be its best when you are running it. So, there's times where you step aside. Watching a picture now on Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, which is fascinating. After the game on TNT. There's times when you step aside and I want to see if I can get to a connecting point on that. We will be getting to the connecting point on that. I'm going to have to scroll up about when you give away the thing that is your project that you are, have the ability to run the best, and then it's a double, because the money ends up being hollow and unfulfilling, and then the enterprise fails because you're not associated with it anymore. So let's stay, we're going to stay on the financial side and just break it down, Ocho Cinco.
Understand that, sometimes most of those that you'll deal with, most of those who will deal with you is because of what you can do and not who you are.
How do you try and figure that out?
You can't figure it out because you always have to lean into it with that same thought process.
What are you saying?
You have to understand, especially when you have money and you have things going on for yourself, would you be able to get the same girl that's with you now if you didn't have it? 9 times out of 10, absolutely not. That's reality.
I don't know.
And that goes for any and everybody, Like that's just life. That's just the way it is.
Right.
If you lost the ability to provide, the woman you're with right now, would she still be there?
That's probably for any man, really almost in any space.
Period. Or do the things or give her the lifestyle that you've been able to. What was she doing before you came along?
Yeah.
And look what you've done with that certain individual that you're with, And depending on how much money you have, your leash is very long. And when things hit the roof, most of the time when she leaves you, she has to take that money with her to continue that lifestyle. and not who you are.
How do you try and figure that out?
You can't figure it out because you always have to lean into it with that same thought process.
What are you saying?
You have to understand, especially when you have money and you have things going on for yourself. Would you be able to get the same girl that's with you now if you didn't have it? Nine times out of 10, absolutely not. Not. That's reality.
I don't know.
And that goes for any and everybody. Like that's just life. That's just the way it is.
Right.
If you lost the ability to provide, the woman you're with right now, would she still be there?
That's probably for any man, really almost in any space.
Period. Or do the things or give her the lifestyle that you've been able to. What was she doing before you came along?
Yeah.
And look what you've done with that certain individual that you're with, And depending on how much money you have, your leash is very long. And when things hit the roof, most of the time when she leaves you, she has to take that money with her to continue that lifestyle. Always understand that, sometimes most of those that you'll deal with, most of those who will deal with you is because of what you can do and not who you are.
How do you try and figure that out?
You can't figure it out because
again, Ocho Cinco, shout out to Nightcap. Nightcap probably going on right now. No lies detected there. None at all. And we're going to scroll up because I want to find we got to scroll up. I'm going back now, but just in terms of the thing that it's going to be a little bit of a delay here, but shout out to Ocho Cinco, breaking it down. The gentleman that created Fortnite. Need to find this to finish this segment. I give another minute. I think I'm getting close. Might just have to Google it. But I'm not coming off of this. All right, T minus 30 seconds. Getting close. That's tough because you get close and you say to yourself, did I pass it? Right now, I'm right in this is some dead air, which is not great. Got a couple. Shout out to Fat Joe. We got a couple clips from him that we're going to get to. Oh, man. And we might not be able to. I can't. Yep. So we got 2 minutes or so of. And I'll probably find it. Is that it? This is terrible. We're going well. See? I'm going to have to Google this up. What is this? Nope. man. All right, the separation's in the preparation. And I have to get this, but clearly not prepared. All right, so we have to finish with this example. Going off the rails with the dead time, like a minute or two of me searching and not finding. So I have to go to see if I can find it. I got the game wrong. I got the game wrong. We're going to have to get this. Ocho Cinco's on point. I'm all the way off point. Can't find the clip that I was looking for. And we're going to have to just move on. To the next thing. Do a better job. More organized. All right, so we talked about just the... Is that it? Nope. That was not it. I am scrolling down, so I'm seeing a lot more. Is this it? Nope. So, scammers. We're making our way back down. Started off good. And of course, hit a roadblock and slice of life. Derailed this entire episode. But we're going to get it moving. We're going to get it going. So not letting people make you feel some type of a way. Right? We're going to come back to address the excellence. See where we go next. Check in with Matt. Okay. Big delay there. It's my bad. It is what it is. It's a live episode, so take the good with the bad, and that was bad. Couldn't find what I need to move to next, but I got it. We're moving.
If you're going to do it, do it. If you can't do it, don't say you can do it. Don't over-leverage yourself. Don't over-leverage a decision and then jump in and kind of dip a toe. I think I'll try it out. No, think if you're going to try it out beforehand, but when it's time to go, dive. Finish it. Find out. Come out the other side. Don't leave it and go, ooh, if I just would. That keeps me up at night. I think it keeps a lot of us up at night. When you half-ass something and you just don't know whether you failed or succeeded, got what you want or didn't get what you want. Finding out and looking in the mirror and going, I didn't half-ass it. I went all the way. I found out, and that ain't for me. Or I found out, and you damn right that is for me. That's a great place to get to. If you're going to do it, do it. If you can't do it, don't say you can do it. Don't over leverage yourself. Don't over leverage a decision and then jump in and kind of dip a toe. I think I'll try it out. No, think if you're going to try it out beforehand, but when it's time to go, dive.
Woo.
Finish it. Find out. Come out the other side. Don't leave it and go, ooh, if I just would. That keeps me up at night. I think it keeps a lot of us up at night. When you half-ass something and you just don't know whether you failed or succeeded, got what you want or didn't get what you want. Finding out and looking in the mirror and going, I didn't half-ass it. I went all the way. I found out, and that ain't for me. Or I found out, and you damn right that is for me. That's a great place to get to. If you're going to do it.
No lies detected there. Again, we had the delay previously. That was bad production, but we back on track now with Matty McConaughey. By the way, go ahead and check out Green Lights. And while you're at it, check out his interview on Joe Rogan, which I saw during the pandemic years, which caused me to get Green Lights on Audible, and it was out of this world. But solid book, and just learn about McConaughey, who I had a lot of respect for anyway, in terms of his films, Time to Kill, just among others. True Detective, on HBO, is just awesome. But hey, you what we talk about. Don't let anybody tell you you don't belong, and understand what it takes. You're gonna have to go get it. Nothing free in this world. Let's keep it moving. Now that we back on track.
Things, right? Some people know you as a player. Some people know you as a coach. But with this book, it starts from where you came from, which is North Philly, right? And you talk about
Raymond Rosen housing projects.
And you talk about, you said growing up in the projects was the best decision your parents made. Explain that a little bit and how that formed to the woman that you are today.
Now.
Just imagine the people that don't grow up in the projects. Mm-hmm. What you think happens in the projects. You think probably only one thing: crime, like bad things, like. Mm-hmm. And for me, it was the foundation of giving me the scars I needed, the chinks in the armor I needed to succeed. Like, there was unity in the projects, there was discipline in the projects, there was manicure lawns. There was my block I grew up never had trash in it. Like, it was captained in a way that would compete with any suburban lawn, like, or neighborhood. So it was all those things that help build you up. Like, I'm unbothered and unafraid to tackle on the most challenging things in life, because that's nothing compared to that's nothing. Like, so I think it gave me the foundation I needed to just be able to, coach every day, like coach young people. Like, generations are changing. Coaching talent and individuals and young people nowadays is very, very challenging.
And I can imagine, because, being a player, I'm sure you got screamed at crazy.
Yeah.
But if you dare talk to your girls like that,
you can't. You got to.
You've been in human resource office.
Exactly. So if you're not able to pivot, if you're not able to handle different challenges that you're faced with, like, I feel bad for coaches who aren't like it. Like, I'm a traditional coach. I like order. I like, people call them rules. People think I'm very strict and disciplined, and I am. But all of our rules are just good character things. Like, good. It's a good character. It's not like be on time. That's not a rule. That's a character trait.
Right.
That's not hard to do. If there's something that you want to do, one of the lessons, you have to do what you don't want to do to get what you want.
That's the lesson I was going to show.
Yeah, I mean, you're a renowned comedian, right?
Yes.
Like, you know how many stand-up shows you had to do that maybe you weren't very good at the beginning?
Yeah.
Like, but you want to be where you are today. You just kept at it and kept at it and kept at it. It's no different than, a child that wants to grow up and be in the WNBA or the NBA.
Yeah.
How much competition's out there? So you got to work when nobody's working. You got to get up and work out and sacrifice. I mean, I sacrificed proms. I sacrificed all these things, family reunions, because I wanted to be the best in my profession. And that's all. It's okay. You're gonna have to choose. You definitely gonna have to choose certain things over other things in order for you to really be the best at it. End up shows you had to do that maybe you weren't very good at the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, but you want to be where you are today. You just kept at it and kept at it and kept at it. It's no different than, you know, a child that wants to grow up and be in the WNBA or the NBA.
Yeah.
It's great. Coach Staley has a new book out. You know, Raymond Rosen. Shout out to the guru of Go, Hank Gathers, Bo Kimball, from that same area of Philadelphia, the guru of Go. We want to keep moving. Got a lot of slice of life to get to. We got to keep moving and grooving. I have to reset this. You can see it coming back. I'm going to reset it. Boop. Got it. Let's keep it moving. What does Curtis Jackson have for us? Let's go.
My father said, if it rattled like a snake, if it slithered like a snake, it's a snake. You ain't got to get bit to realize it's a snake. You ever had a person show you so much in every single way they can possibly show you that they would care less about you?
Yes.
And eventually you go, let me just move away from this person. It's not good for me. People are really loyal to their comfort. And when they are forced to actually sustain things that they have on their own, they can get upset when whoever appears to have everything with no problem. Whoever's doing it easy in their mind, because like I've been working to consistently keep it. My grandfather said, if it rattled like a snake, if it slithered like a snake, it's a snake. You ain't got to get bit to realize it's a snake. You ever had a person show you so much in every single way they can possibly show you that they would care less about you?
Yes.
And eventually you go, let me just move away from this person. It's not good for me. People are really loyal to their comfort. And when they are forced to actually sustain things that they have on their own, they can get upset when whoever appears to have everything with no problem. Whoever's doing it easy in their mind, because like I've been working to consistently keep it. My grandfather said,
You know, something a classmate said who's very successful. You know, don't ever underestimate how hard it is to make things look easy. You don't underestimate how hard it is to make things look easy. You know, somebody shows you, believe them. Believe them. And keep moving and doing what you need to do. Okay? We got more, you know, after this delay. Now we moving. We're gonna take them different.
How do you feel about flying coach? I hop on a jet, boo. I hop on a coach for a short flight, like 31E. You do it. A quick one, yeah. I watch a few Law and Orders, I'm there. I can't do it. I'm not saying that. No. This is part of my prayer every day. God, please don't put me in coach. God, please keep me in first class. First floor seats, now first class. No, I'm telling you the truth. What you want me to do? I gotta expect to find the things in life. It's hard being number one, but somebody gotta do it. The one time I had to fly coach, I sat next to the Hillbilly Gyms, the Beverly Hillbilly. When I tell you these kids was climbing over my shoulder, some kid threw another kid a bag of potato chips. Hey, John! Shit hit my head. Kids climbing over my shit. It's a different type of atmosphere back there. I was praying. I said, God, please, Lord Jesus, I do never want to be on this again. And let me tell you something. I also believe cheaper airlines like Spirit, Southwest, and all them, they pay for fucked up routes out there. They pay for the potholes. They shit always like this. You ever got on a Spirit? They shit like this. I think they pay. All right, what's the wackest level? 34,000 feet. It's cheaper, yes. They buy that route. And your shit be like this all the time. You get there safe, but your shit be like this. They got how come routes in the air? It's the air.
A little bit more.
What do you feel about flying coach? I hop on a jet, boo. I hop on a coach for a short flight, like 31E. You do it. A quick one, yeah. I watch a few Law and Orders, I'm there. I can't do it. I'm not saying that. No. This is part of my prayer every day. God, please don't put me in coach. God, please keep me in first class. First floor seats, now first class. No, I'm telling you the truth. What you want me to do? I gotta expect to find the things in life. It's hard being number one, but somebody gotta do it. The one time I had to fly coach, I sat next to the hillbilly gyms, that Beverly Hillbilly. When I tell you these kids was climbing over my shoulder, some kid threw another kid a bag of potato chips. Hey, John! Shit hit my head. Kids climbing over my shit. It's a different type of atmosphere back there. I was praying. I said, God, please, Lord Jesus, I do never want to be on this again. And let me tell you something. I also believe cheaper airlines like Spirit, Southwest, and all them, they pay for fucked up routes out there. Like they pay for the potholes. They shit always like this. You ever got on a Spirit? They shit like this. I think they pay. All right, what's the wackest level? 34,000 feet. It's cheaper, yes. They buy that route, and your shit be like this all the time. You get there safe, but your shit be like this. They got how come routes in the air? It's the air.
That is a good question. I don't have that. You know, when you're flying a PJ, when you're flying a private jet, are you guaranteed the smooth flight because they got the comfortable? It's a good question. I only fly, you know, so I'm a discount traveler, so I don't have the other options. But apparently, you know, that's a thing when you reach these different levels. You know, you it's okay. I'm only flying. Let's continue on to, you know, the success.
And draping myself. I work hard, and nobody can argue with how hard I work. I don't ask for no shortcuts. So when it's time for me to treat myself, I'm gonna treat myself. I know what this gift did for me, what it did for my family. And once they straight, that's when I'm gonna spoil my motherfucking self. So yeah, I'm gonna throw this King Kong on, and I'm gonna be proud of me. I love draping myself. I work hard, and nobody can argue with how hard I work. I don't ask for no shortcuts. So when it's time for me to treat myself, I'm gonna treat myself. I know what this gift did for me, what it did for my family. And once they straight, that's when I'm gonna spoil my motherfucking self. So yeah, I'm gonna throw this King Kong on, and I'm gonna be proud of me. I love draping myself. I work hard, and
Busta Rhymes.
Nobody can argue with how hard I work.
Similar sentiments, you know, about the grind. And hey, you know, there's that work-life balance. Certainly, there's work-life balance there. You know what I mean? In terms of just say, you gotta appreciate. Okay, we're gonna wrap again, just in terms of different approaches to success. No lies detected, no issues, right? Busta Rhymes, he's got the chain almost looks like something you would use, you know, to like anchor a yacht or something. You know, some sort of heavy equipment. You know, it just looks heavy. You know, if I had to, you know, like you ever seen those, you know, you need a tow, but then there's certain trucks that they have that can tow like 18 wheelers, but you have to connect the 8. That's that, and if it's all platinum, I mean, number of zeros that item costs. We need to get a statistician in here. Need to get a mathematician up in here. You know, it just looks like it's part of his workout routine to just strengthen his shoulders and upper back. It's crazy. But hey, working hard, you know what I mean? And doing it. So we're gonna finish this caught my attention again about the journey. This, first of all, one of the most prestigious restaurants in the world is in a Subway. It's in the Subway. Only 10 seats, and it's run by somebody that's on his way to being 100. Let's come over here. Jiro Ono. Is the chef. Tiny basement restaurant in Tokyo. I didn't realize Tokyo was one of these mega cities. Tens of millions of people. $400 reservations. Consistency for decades. You're in the restaurant, you're there for a half an hour. Started with Obama, fitting that we finished with Obama. Best sushi he's ever had. Hey, the grind. Gotta fall in love with the grind, the work. Can't get over this. This is the place. Carved into a, it's just, again, truth stranger than fiction. Busy subway, mega city, people sprinting back and forth to get to, here. Like, if you didn't know who he was, like, how many times would you pass this place in the course of, you're working class hero, right? You work 5, 10, 15, 20 years, the grind, trying to get from point A to point. Like, if you did not know this, you would pass this, hundreds and thousands of times and not know this is one of the greatest restaurants on the face of the earth. It's in the basement of a Subway. Just the pursuit of perfection. Loving what he does every day. We'll have to go through all of these. You see Arnold. How do people even find this place? He's just out there, working class hero. Indescript. Wouldn't know who he was unless, you read the article. One of the finest restaurants on the face of the planet. In the doggone Subway. So he clearly doesn't have an issue, riding public transportation with everybody else. So to each their own. You want to, but also, you need to treat others the way you want to be treated. And do it for the positive and for the betterment of society and the world. But this one jumped out to me quite a bit. And so, folks, it's been a beautiful thing, this episode, rocking with you. Did have the delay here in terms of the slice of life. Let me just check, because it is getting a little bit late, but it's also a holiday weekend. Appreciate we had some commentary. I missed the commentary. We got a commentary. We had some commentary. Friend from college jumped through with a comment. Let's see if I can pull it up. Former college classmate, my senior year. He was my RA. Tuning in, jumped in. That means a lot to me. It means a lot when folks, I appreciate that. The IG went down for, when the IG goes down for whatever reason. It is what it is. Can't help it. Folks on the Twitter feed, appreciate those who's been rocking with me for the course of the episode. We still got a little bit ways to go. We're not done just yet. And so, hey, beautiful thing, passion project to get out, rock with you. Huge game. Go New York, go New York, go. In terms of the matchup, Indiana Pacers down double digits, close to 20. Storm all the way back to get the W. Long way to go in that series. Eastern Conference Finals, Western Conference Finals, both at 2-1. And they're going to be battles right to the end. And, hey, SandCity Sports, this is my passion project. It's a battle to get it done. And I'm happy to be here. And, we're at that time, folks. Hey, I am your host, K.A.T, artist formerly known as Andre King. Thank you so much for tuning in to